One more time. Give it up for Dr. Michael Eric Dyson. I got some questions for you, sir. But before we do that, how you doing?
Man, I'm on East Coast time, about to go to sleep. The Pistons won, so we good. What's up, Sacramento Kings? That's all right. Y'all be back next century. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
I got to stay awake, man. I got to stay awake.
Well, first of all, let me welcome you to Sacramento, and thank you for being with us here for our Built to Last gala. We saw each other last year in Washington, D.C. for the Congressional Black Caucus, and
Yes,
I'm grateful for our mutual friend Cheryl Brownlee, who helped to make this connection and of CB Communications and helped to bring you here with us. People didn't think we were going to do it, but we did it. We did it. And we're grateful for you for being with us. We're honored to have you.
Thank you.
Your voice, your brilliance, and your prophetic insight in this room. So what does it mean to you, built to last, in this present moment?
Yes, sir. Well, first of all, I want to thank you for this incredible opportunity, such an extraordinary leader like you, having shared a panel with you quite recently, and your brilliant declamation was inspiring. Sister Brownlee is my West Coast publicist and boss, and Sister Cindy, and of course the Reverend Al Sharpton, the foremost leader of our time, an extraordinary human being who has held high the torch for many a decade in the midst of the consternation of the enemy. When we think about now built to last, we have to remember that, because the forces that prevail, the powers that be, are trying to make us forget that we are indeed people who have forged tremendous connection. I want to shout out, of course, the incredible mayor and all of the other public officials who are here as well. But when you think about the fact that we have been here before. Now, we as individuals have not been here, but we as a people, we as a nation, we as a group of folk of minoritized populations have been here before, where after Reconstruction, when we got a few people in the office and we were rolling and, as they say, cooking with gas, and then it was just too much. They thought we were getting too much, because they always think when we get anything, we getting too much. And you know I'm saying they, them. This is why we're, embracing our trans brothers and sisters, because we're already halfway there. I'm just going to pivot to that right quick, because I know I'm in the black church, with gay, lesbian, transgender, bisexual. We ain't got time to be all hands on deck is what we need, right? We need all hands on deck. So you're already halfway there. Who did this? Mama and them, right? Who did this? They did. So you got they and them down. So get the rest of those pronouns and we'll be good. But we know. Wake up, man. Wake up now. If I'm on East Coast time, y'all going to have to wake up now. Tell some more jokes out here. So here's the thing. That we have in office one of the most notoriously, nefariously incompetent nincompoops who's ever occupied the office of the presidency of the United States of America. If I wasn't in church, I would really tell you what kind of dumb person this person is. Got the nerve to be jumping on black women and others every other week. She's dumb. She's lacking intelligence. You empty suit. You absent brain matter. The incapacity to articulate ideas stands every day to excrete the feces of his moral depravity into a nation he has turned into his psychic commode. And so we got to remember that we come from a great people and that we are built to last, right? What we going to do? What did we do before we had anything? Before we had a Voting Rights Act in 1965, Civil Rights Bill in 1964, Fair Housing Act in 68. What did we do? We built institutions. We forged connections. We got sororities and fraternities, and we built organizations and voluntary organizations. We built institutions of higher learning. So we ain't giving up now. We are built to last, right? And I was reminded that last night when Drake dropped 3 albums, built to last. Oh, stop hating out here. What? Boo. See, and that's the problem. This kind of booing, right? You supporting Kendrick, who said not like us, because that's what the white supremacists said. You ain't like us. Oh, you ain't thought about it like that, huh? The white supremacists out here saying you ain't like us. What did they mean when they said you 3/5 human? You ain't like us. When they are mad at you after Reconstruction, you not like us. When you should be a slave, you ain't like us. No, Negro, you just like us. And if we get caught on the same side of the road, dark skin or light skin, we going to jail together or we gonna be hurt together. So get them Drake albums. That Joy Met. That first Drake album is off the Chizane, I'm telling you. The opening, the introduction for 5 minutes. He said, I've been trying to end people. I forgot to start with the intro. Anyway, so the point is that we are built to last indeed because we have to remember that we depend upon each other to uplift and to transcend barriers. We talk about Asian, East Asian, Southeast Asian, African American, Latino, from every part of the nation, the world, the country. We have to forge connections with and between one another so that we will let the forces that be know that they cannot prevail. The extreme court is in consolidation with them, right? So the extreme court is over here judging. They just turned down Virginia's plan to go back to an older map because why? They want to gut the Civil Rights Bill, the Voting Rights Act. So what do we got to do? We got to get up and vote. Act like you're going to a Beyonce concert. Act like you're going to a Kendrick Lamar concert. Act like you're going to see Jigga when the rim is in the system. Ain't no telling. So get out there. Oh, I'm going to spit for you if you up now. I'm going to spit for you. And Brother Harris is a great dude, but you're going to have to stop hating on Drake, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to bring light-skinned Negroes back, and you are messing up the program right now. Okay? Y'all been dogging us ever since Wesley Snipes stabbed Christopher Williams in New Jack City. It has been rough out here. We got Steph Curry. We got to bring Drake back too, all right?
I'm not sure if I can help you with that.
Oh, Drake said jealousy is just love and hate at the same time. I ain't worried about it.
My goodness. So you have spent your entire life, it seems, helping us understand, helping America understand itself through the lens of race, faith, culture, politics, and democracy. And what are we seeing? And what are we seeing in this country right now that people need to name clearly and understand more deeply?
Yes, sir.
What is it that we are seeing in this country right now that we need to see to name clearly and understand more deeply?
Yes, sir. It's a great question. Where I left off, let me start there again. We can ill afford to be mad at folk because they ain't got the same sexuality or the same bearing or the same orientation, or that, I was joking about light skin, dark skin. We know this has killed our culture, right? And the reason I was serious about Kendrick and Drake is because that has definitely divided us and devastated us. Because when you think about it, we had the so-called slave field Negroes and the so-called house Negroes. And we said, Malcolm X and the house Negroes. And so the house Negroes was feeding information, right? Don't sleep on them. They were like, yes, master, very good. And went out there and say, hey, they trying to do this, that, and the third, right? And so we generated culture that was premised upon the ability of black people to rebel, right? Ain't got long to stay here. Green trees are bending. Okay, springtime, Herod coming through, right? Overseer was called Pharaoh. See what I'm saying? So we generated coded language to be able to articulate our freedom because we wasn't speaking Spanish and French. We came here speaking different languages, whether it was Ich bin ein Berliner, eine feste Buchung zu Gott, or Je parle un peu de français maintenant, or for shizzle my nizzle. I mean, we were trying to work it all out, where we were trying to speak different languages, Rafiki Wakumba, right? We're coming from different, the Diome, we're coming from Igbo, all that. So they wanted to separate us, but we got the drum to be able to articulate a similar language. That's why James Brown was so important, right? Gonna have a funky good time. Couldn't understand what he's saying. Gonna take your hand, right? And hit that drum, dun 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 dun. Right? The drum was an articulate way of expressing and idealizing our beliefs, goals, and aspirations. So we got to remember that we have to forge connections among the varieties of our peoples and the varieties of our communities, and we got to forge connections with people outside these communities to make sure that we in the same boat. You know, when Martin Luther King Jr. was in jail in Birmingham, the white jailer came up to him and said, you know, Dr. King, you're wrong. What you're doing is wrong. We're right. He said, no, what we're doing is right. You know, that discrimination is wrong and that segregation is wrong and morally, wrong. And they argued. Then King said, how much money are you making? And then when he told him, he said, you need to be out here marching with us, right? Because poor white folk in the same boat. Now, they just now waking up. Jiminy Cricket, the gas prices are up. Really? Because when you start a war with Iran and you got the Hormuz Strait, and he ain't thought about it because he dumb, so he don't think about nothing like that. And these sycophants who are around him, right, who genuflect before the altar of his superiority and ain't got enough gumption to tell him the truth, dog, you ain't got no clothes on. You're an emperor, but you have no clothing. You ain't got Gucci. You ain't got Guy Laurent. You ain't got, Sean John. Well, okay. So the thing is,
That's still there.
Free Puffy. So, look, that's a different kind of oil problem. But what I'm saying, but what I'm saying, what is what did Commodore say? Love gets slippery when it's wet. So the thing is, oh, that's y'all's generation. That's what y'all doing. Zoom. All right. So the thing is, I thought y'all would wake up. So the thing is that we got to recognize at the end of the day we in the boat together, right? And so I think it's extremely important for us to realize that, and we need all hands on deck. We are facing an interminable, unprincipled ninny hammer. I'm saying this because I don't want to cuss. And we are also confronting a despot and a dictator, a would-be, an authoritarian, and a demagogue. And he is using every means available, getting rich from $2.5 billion to $6-some billion. Like if Obama was trying to pick up an extra fry at McDonald's, Jiminy, stop it, put him in jail, trying to get a Happy Meal without paying for it. This man and his kids is getting rich right before our eyes. $1.7 billion out of the IRS fund. Gonna stop suing them. Let me take the money, slush fund, and give it to the January 6th people who tried to undermine American democracy. Right? So that's what we're dealing with. And here's the thing, here's the scary thing. We can't depend on the legislative branch. We can't depend on either the Senate or the House or the courts. The appeals court tried to do something, but they come along and change it. The federal court tries to do something because he was genius in terms of staffing and stuffing those courts. If he had never got back in office, he was going to have an impact. Just with him and Uncle Clarence, that Negro, right? And he against every law that's been passed except interracial marriage. Man, y'all ain't ready. Y'all ain't ready. I thought y'all was ready. I thought y'all was down. He ain't trying to change that one because he and his interracial wife, and look, I'm get anybody you can. I'm old enough to know if you and this microphone can get along, hey, how you doing? Fine, how are you? I love you. Why do you love me? Because you amplify me.
You amplify.
All right.
That's
So the
pretty
thing is, so get with who you can get with. But I'm saying at the end of the day, you and your white wife undermined American law. She was in cahoots with the January 6 people. Samuel Alito's wife, flag upside down. That wasn't no mistake, y'all. They are signifying whose side they're on, and it ain't yours. But what we still have left is the American voter. You are still the thin line that protects us between the chaos of the assault upon American democracy and the maintenance and preservation of a noble tradition that allows us to hold up the bloodstained banner of democracy.
Put your hands together for this, y'all. This is wonderful. So, you have spoken to presidents, pastors, students, activists, artists, and everyday people. From your experience, what kind of leadership does this moment require from those of us who believe in justice, but also carrying the weight of fatigue, fear, and frustration?
Yes, sir. You know, you remember the story in the Bible of Elijah, and he was tired. It is enough, O Lord, now take away my life, for I'm not better than my father. Kill me. He won't commit suicide. Just kill me. I'm done. They've jacked up your altars. They done killed the prophets. They've eviscerated and wiped out the culture. And what did God tell him? Slow down, Mace. You're killing them. Okay. God said, y'all slow, man. I don't know. I thought Sacktown was on it. I mean, come on, man. Didn't Tupac Shakur come through here? So the thing is that God says to him, slow down. First of all, get you something to eat because you're tired, right? Get some sleep because you on East Coast time on the West Coast. And then when you get up in the morning, I'm going to take you over to the hill and show you 7,000 other people who ain't sold out. You are not the only one. It feels like you are. They want you to believe that you're in the minority, but you ain't. You in the majority. Even poor white brothers and sisters who done fell for the okie doke have awakened themselves. And America trips me out. We're anti-woke. What do you want to stay asleep? Right? Why y'all? Frederick Douglass said that one of the greatest sins that enslaved people could commit was oversleeping. So first of all, you was mad at us for oversleeping. Now we woke, you're mad too. Right? Stay woke. That's what we got to do, right? Wake up, everybody. What did you do this morning? Woke up. When you consider the alternative, woke is great, right? So, first of all, we need leaders who are fearless.
Yeah.
You can't be scared. Right? Not in this. Look, it's easy to be scared because there's a lot of craziness going on out here. They shooting black. I'm in Nashville. They going around trying to provoke by calling us names and then shoot us and not going to get off. Done raised $200,000. You saw this white boy going around, right, calling people N-word. Then his girlfriend came out, a woman with both a vagina and a penis. See, it's always something like that, right? So you taking it, now you want to give it, so to speak. I'm going to leave it at that level. We're in church. Okay. So the thing is, dually equipped and capable of resisting simultaneously. So the thing is that what we have to do is understand the necessity of overcoming these barriers and being unafraid at the end of the day to stand up for truth, number one. Number two, we got to get rid of our petty bigotries. Right?
Yeah, right.
I don't want no poor Negroes doing this. I don't want no, Mexicans taking my. First of all, they ain't took your job.
Right.
Because you wasn't getting up at 3 o'clock
Yeah.
with Jose, right? Jose is like, get up, Maria, right? You ain't doing that, and neither should you have to. Because we worked hard in this nation for free for 240 years. But don't blame Latinos. Don't blame Latinx folk. Don't blame Mexicans and Puerto. It ain't the Mexicans, the Puerto Ricans, the Dominicans. It's the Republicans, all right? So the thing is, I ain't dogging all Republicans, just most of them. So the thing is that we have to understand we cannot fall for the okie doke of demonizing and stigmatizing another beset people, right? We in the same boat. And whether they sing in country music down where I live, I'm proud to be an Okie from Muskogee. Y'all don't know that. That's old school. See, I love the country music, man, because they got stories like rappers and blues singers. What do blues singers say? If you're going to walk across my lawn, least you could do is take off your shoes. Remember that? Denise LaSalle said, hey, lady, your husband is cheating on us. Y'all slow, man. Y'all slow, man. Come on, man. Huh? On them country songs. Man talking about his girl, his wife was cheating. She had a ring on her finger, but time on her hands. You can preach that one, boy. And then the other one I love, he said, if I'd have killed you when I met you, I would have been out of jail by now. Here's the thing. So they're in Appalachia. They're poor white people struggling in rural America. A lot of black people in rural America, too. So we got to understand the rural, the urban, where we're being demonized. Our kids are being sunk. They're pouring hundreds of millions of dollars into suburban schools and depleting the resources of our inner city schools. So the thing is that if we recognize we in the same boat together and don't buy our poor white brothers and sisters what Du Bois in 1935 called the psychological wages of whiteness. Tell a white person, you better than a Negro at least. You might be poor, but you better than them Negroes. So the thing is, LBJ, not LeBron. Oh, I guess he's not big out here. Okay.
No.
Oh, LeBron. LeBron ain't big out here, huh? Y'all might get him in a trade. You don't know. He might come out here and play with Steph Curry. You don't know. I know he ain't coming to Sacramento, but I know he ain't coming. Man. Yeah, we got one king. We can't have kings. So the thing is, but here's the thing, though. The thing is that when we look out here and look at the diversity of and plurality of these communities, we have to forge connections and come together and recognize that each of us has the ability to make a contribution, and we have to understand it. Then finally, we got to recognize the genius of women leaders.
That's right. That's right.
I mean,
yes.
You know, some of the brothers out there, they weren't going to vote for Kamala because she was a woman. Like, what? First of all, they mad because they woman running them at the crib. Man, don't let me get in your business, okay? Right? You said, I run this house. Yeah, okay. She gave you permission to run the house, Negro. And thank God, look, I wrote a book called Why I Love Black Women 23, 24 years ago. That was before it was a thing, right? That wasn't no fad. These rappers come to me, why you writing that? Because black women, they rough. You get up in the morning, they bitter. Good morning. How are you? What do you mean? No, it's not a good morning. I said, maybe you made him bitter. Maybe you are the missing ingredient to her lack of happiness.
Wow.
And then they said they're too choosy. Black women, they choose all these men. I said, let me tell you something. I did a sociological analysis. Black women choose men beneath their status more than any group of women in America. Woman got a PhD, he might have a bachelor's degree. She got a master's degree, he might have high school. She got a bachelor's degree, he might have 8th grade. All right? But she worked with Cleophas in his 8th grade. Come on, baby. Comb your hair. Brush your teeth. Walk, baby. You a sexy black thing. Right? And stand that man up. Come on. You got a job. You pay bills. You are a man. So these women have understood the ethic of surrogacy, supplying to a depleted ego the necessary uplift. But why we got to turn around and demonize and stigmatize the very women that we're talking about? Then they complain, they're too bossy. I said, you got a point right there. But thank God for bossy black women.
That's right.
Because without bossy black women, some of y'all wouldn't have got up to go to school. Get your butt up right now. Oh, you going to school. You ain't going to lay up in this house and not have no job. So black women have orchestrated the domestic tranquility of our essence, and as a result of that are demonized often for not being as soft as or as pliable as others when they've had to be man, father, child, boy, girl, stand up and do what they got to do. So black men, stand up, acknowledge the centrality of the feminine insight, and then join together with them as we change this world.
Come on. I think we need to give all our black women a hand right here. Come on. Especially every pastor, you need a standing ovation, all right, for our black churches. Dr. Dyson, let's talk about the youth, this next generation, the young people who will inherit the consequences of what we fight for or fail to fight for. What charge would you give them tonight, and what responsibility do we have to build something strong enough for them to stand on?
Yes, sir, it's a great question. You know, we like to jump on young people. We all do it, old people. This generation ain't what we was. You know, we were the thing. Now, every generation likes its own music. When you were about 14, 15, that's the music you think was the greatest. And some of y'all, that was the 70s, right? The Spinners, y'all heard of the Spinners, you know? I don't know, in Sacramento, y'all seem to be a little dead out here. Y'all probably listen to the Beach Boys up in L.A. But what I'm saying, hey, Beach Boys were the dope. I mean, I'm not, Pet Sounds, man, that's a classic album. But y'all might have been, you know, doing some other stuff. But the thing is that we listening, you know, to Marvin Gaye, because they think Trey Songz invented sex. No. You gonna think I invented sex? No, you didn't. That was Marvin Gaye. That was Barry White, and that was Teddy Pendergrass. He started off soft, like Obama, close the door, baby. Then he ended like Reverend Al Sharpton, shut him off! Close the door! So the thing is, we listen to their music, hurt and pain. Think about Tupac up the road. Somebody wake me, I'm dreaming. I started as a seed, the semen, swimming upstream, planted in the womb while screaming. On the top was my pops, my mama hollering stop from a single drop. This is what they got? Not to disrespect my people, but my papa was a loser. Only plan he had to mama was the blanker and abusing. And even as a child, I could see his plan for me stranded on welfare, another broken family. Right? Jay-Z. And all my teachers couldn't reach me, and my mama couldn't beat me hard enough to match the pain of my pop not seeing me. So, with that disdain in my membrane, got on the pimp game, blanked the world, my defense came. Biggie, you know. I used to fuss when the landlord dissed us. No heat, wondered why Christmas missed us. Birthdays was the worst days. Now we sip champagne when we thirsty. Darn right, I like the life I live. Because I went from negative to positive. It's all good. If you don't know, now you know. But back in the days, our parents used to take care of us. Look at them now. They're even blanking scared of us. Calling the city for help because they can't maintain. Darn things done changed. If I wasn't in the rap game, I'd probably have a kilo, knee deep in the crack game because the streets is a shortstop. Either you slinging crack rock or you got a wicked jump shot. Damn, it's hard being young from the slums, eating 5-cent gums, not knowing where your meal's coming from. What happened to the summertime cookout? Every time I turn around, a brother's being took out. Now, back in your day, when you were listening to Marvin Gaye and you went up and asked a girl to dance and she turned you down, maybe the people over there heard it, but that about it. Now they put it on a Facebook and 20,000 people, you done got embarrassed in front of. So a digital audience has now ramified and reinforced a shame that was no longer private, but now has been publicly exposed, and your shame has been infinitely increased. Now, we have Facebook, too. We Facebook and Reddit. That's what we did. Right? We were a Twitter. Our card catalog, they don't even know what a card catalog is. Except the card catalog, they get all the ladies they trying to get their cards to holler at. We had 187.6. That was not a radio station. That was social science in the library. Y'all don't even know what the library is no more. That's where the lies are buried. You got to go and dig them up. Huh? Remember the Reader's Periodical? What? Now you go to Google. And what took us 2 weeks, you can do in a second. We got more information and less knowledge. More information and less knowledge. Right? Now, we got to thank the young people for inventing all this stuff. But my Lord Jesus, what are we going to do with it? So we got to acknowledge the extraordinary advance of social media, although a lot of it is destructive. Or what we're doing with AI, we can't even tell what's real no more. You know, you're making up stuff and singing songs and so on. Come on, bro. You know, so that's incredible on the one hand, but also warning us on the other. And on the other hand, we have young people who are looking toward us for real leadership and integrity. And so we've got to do this thing together. We can't crap on the young people and dog them out because they can't help when they were born, just like you can't help when you were born. Right? You born at a time you had Sam Cooke. Darling, you send me, I know that you, right? That's what y'all singing. And they got, I don't know, Maxwell, and they got Chris Brown and Usher going on tour. A lot of y'all going to be there, acting ratchet with your bourgeois selves, trying to back up what you shouldn't even crack up. Lord. So, but then you got younger people, Sexy Red and all these people, and you think, oh my God, how horrible. But the thing is, what are the conditions that produce them? And what are the situations into which they're born? And what is a society that doesn't think they are worthy of being supported, so they internalize this? So we've got to give them a sense of the urgency of voting. When they look at it, what difference do it make? We vote, it don't make no difference. The left do it, the right do it. They all racist, they all sexist, they pigs, they don't want to do the right thing. So we have to absorb that critique, although we got to spit it right back at them like, I know y'all thought Black Lives Matter was going to be better than SNCC, but you end up fighting too. Because everybody do it. We're human beings. We're limited, right? And so we have to understand where they are, the conditions under which they have emerged, the things that they have to do in order to survive and to speak their language. And we got to teach them to respect some old gray-haired people that you think are slow and stupid and dumb, but they made it possible for you to be smart and fast and quick, right? Look, I was born 7 years before the Voting Rights Act. We left Detroit, my mama from Alabama, daddy from Georgia. How come we can't stop and get food? Everybody else stopping. Why we got a mason jar underneath the seat where I have to relieve myself? How come we can't stop to get food? Finally did one day, me and my mama, ironically enough in Nashville, where I live now, go up into the store. We don't serve niggers here. They didn't say the N-word. They said niggers. I asked my mom, what's a nigger? She said, whatever you do, don't tell your daddy. Because she knew that if my father got wind of that, right? So all you big bad men with your rap songs and you would have killed somebody, you don't even know what it would have meant to exist in an era when your very life was at stake. Your wife is raped without moral compunction or legal redress. There was no Me Too movement on the slave plantation or in Jim Crow with black codes. Subsequent to that, Jim and Jane Crow. The ability to protect, and if you did protect your family, often at the expense of your life. So, first of all, we got to learn history. Because when they ban those books, they're banning them from us too.
That's true.
And then secondly, we have to use our churches as temples of erudition. If they ban the books, read them here. Right? The stuff they putting down. You got Angela Davis up the road, invite her here. One of the great ones, right? To talk about her relationship to James Baldwin or George Jackson in terms of prisons. So the thing is that we got to appreciate these young people. Young people got to appreciate the older folk. We got to figure out ways to harness the capability we have as gifted Americans to transform this culture. And we cannot surrender to cynicism and hopelessness. What is we going to do? What did we do before we had anything? As I say again, we built, we discovered, we dug in, and we made a way out of no way. And if we can show our young people that, then they can respect our pursuit of those goals and then take the baton and move the race forward.
Good. So, Dr. Dyson, I want to thank you for being with us on tonight. And I want to close this fireside chat by asking and requesting that you would speak a final word over this room, over our leaders, over our young people, our movement, and our future. What is the charge you would leave with us tonight so that we just don't leave inspired, but leave committed to build something that will truly last?
Until you listen to Drake, no good will come to you.
I'm trying to be serious.
Look, the thing is, Howard Thurman, the great prophetic mystic, whose book Dr. King took in his valise across the country, Jesus and the Disinherited. If you are a preacher, a minister of a temple, you read the Bhagavad Gita, the Ule Quran, the Tao Te Ching, the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, whatever it is, it's your holy book, right? In an ashram, Thurman said, I'm as at home in an ashram as I am in a sanctuary. It messed some people up. The thing is, you've seen it from a human perspective. Ain't none of us been to God directly. Now, you can claim you had some experiences and you had the Holy Ghost and you dancing around, but I'm talking about for real, right? So we're all on this side of the glass trying to figure it out, right? We're not what Leibniz, the great philosopher, called subspecie eternitatis, from the Latin phrase, from the gaze of God. We're down here with Wes Montgomery. Y'all remember Wes Montgomery? Jazz pianist, jazz guitarist, on the ground. Down here on the ground. Remember George Benson when he remade that? Y'all don't know George Benson? Give me the night. Come on, man. What's up with y'all? So, thank you, Pastor. Pastor's about to break it down. Okay. So the thing is that we are out here struggling together. And Howard Thurman said, resist the temptation to scale down your dreams to the event, which is your immediate experience. This thing you're confronting right now, death, divorce, kids won't listen to me, wife don't care, husband's going out the way. Whatever you're confronting, people won't listen to me. I'm a mayor, I'm a governor, I'm a senator, I'm a president, or I'm a parent, or I'm a dog catcher, or a fireman, or woman. The thing is, don't reduce your dreams to what is before your nose. Because, he said, our slave foreparents looked toward a different world. They couldn't even imagine. Could the slave foreparents imagine Michael Jordan? Right? Or Henry Bibby? Or Mike Bibby? Let me get closer to y'all. Or Chris Webber? Oh, I'm trying to give him some love. I'm trying to give him some love out here. Most of the great ones left. But the thing is, I mean, who's playing for San Antonio? I mean, you know, DeFox, De'Aaron. Okay, all right. Yeah. So the thing is, when you think about the fact that Thurman said, don't reduce your dreams to what you are experiencing now. Understand what they call in the Bible and in theology eschatology. That's the end stuff. Death, hell, judgment, the grave, the world to come. Borrow from that. And right here where we are now, not in heaven, not in a pie in the sky by and by, but right here on earth, what are we able to do to make sure that we can imagine a different future? Because, Doc, they can't take your imagination. Don't let them have your imagination. Each day through my window, I watch her as she passes. Do, 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 do. I say to myself, you're such a, right? To have a girl like her is truly a dream. But it was.
Just my imagination.
Come on, if you can imagine, you could dream a girl up, right? If you can imagine a different world. Einstein said imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is what has been known. Imagination, what you can learn. That's why he's debating Heisenberg and theoretical physics. He said, no, I don't believe in, God playing dice with the universe. And Einstein was an atheist, but he meant God by the way of the universe, the order of existence. So my point simply to you is, do not allow your imaginations to become hostage to a cynicism and a lack of belief that already means you lost. But when you can imagine a different world, this man going to be out of office in 3 years, become hook or crook. And you can say, well, he ain't going to leave. Well, we're going to put him out, right? You ain't that helpless. Even the other side ain't going, nah, dog. Now, we can't really do that now, right? So the thing is that we have to imagine a different future. He ain't God. Last time I checked, his name ain't Jesus. You're not Allah. Assalamu alaikum. You ain't that. So the thing is, you've got to understand the power you possess and the power that we possess. And when we come together, when I start off with Drake and Kendrick, I love both of them cats, right? And the song is the song is the song and whatever you thought about it. But I do believe you can't be a fascist. Us versus them. You is us. Them is us. We are in this together. Slave, Negro, feeling it. What did Jay say? Dark, nigga, still, right. That's what you is. What did Malcolm say? What they called black man with PhD? Right. So when you remember that, you remember that we are essentially our brothers and sisters and our keepers, and that means regardless of race or class or gender or sexual orientation or social hierarchy or political party, at the end of the day, we're fighting for the future of the soul of America. And if we're doing that, that means even if I disagree with you on the political tip, right, unless you believe that my very existence causes you such consternation that I can't exist, no, we can't get down like that, dog. Then you got to go. And I would recommend that you see Jesus as soon as possible, right? Or whoever you think your deity is. So for me, what we should do is to remember what Thurman said. He said, you have a choice. You can be a prisoner of the event, or you can be a prisoner of hope. You got to choose. Are you going to allow this to be cynically the end of your imagination, or will you say, I will be a prisoner of hope? And regardless, or as the brothers and sisters say, irregardless of what we're confronting right here, that there is a God, there is hope, there is possibility, if we together join hands and make certain that the country for which we have given our blood will survive, and in the end, will thrive beyond what they're saying now. I think that's what we have to do.
Let's give it up for the illustrious Dr. Michael Eric Dyson. Y'all. One more time for Dr. Michael.